Hi, Rod here, and want to show a very exciting new platform for developers and testers. It's a new generation of software test automation solution called ZAPTEST. And ZAPTEST is used for testing cross-platform applications of any type of GUI-based software and any modern operating system, mobile or conventional platform, including iOS, Android, Winmo, BlackBerry, Windows, Mac, Linux, and supports the whole concepts of agile and continuous integration and continuous delivery, and a lot of the themes that we have here at CA in terms of supporting continuous delivery. I like this platform because it does a great job of not only supporting how our application developers and testers work with service virtualization, but the whole concept of continuous delivery, from supporting the ability of building scripts, taking those scripts and driving them out into Agile Central to support, to provide predefined test cases, and the test case format can be used to drive Agile Requirements Designer test cases, which is a very powerful value proposition. So I'm going to go through and explain some of the components here of ZAPTEST. There's the ZAPTEST UI, which allows us to be able to build cross-platform test automation using visual object recognition. So this is a concept that's kind of a derivative of optical character recognition. What this gives me the ability of doing is taking any type of document, whether it be a mock-up or a screen capture or something from my cell phone, and putting that in the ZAPTEST UI and being able to go ahead and capturing all those objects, all those screen objects, using the ZAPTEST technology to build a script that allows us to drive a test across all these platforms. There's a documentation, test documentation converter. This is a powerful facility for allowing us to generate not only the test case documentation, but being able to integrate and generate test cases for Agile Central, as well as Agile Requirements Designer. And there's the M-Run, M as in Mary, Run facility that allows us to take platforms like Windows and Linux, any type of workstation device, as well as mobile, and allows us to go ahead and run those tests across multiple platforms from one individual script. ZAP-Farm is the device host management facility that allows us to go ahead and run these not only on-prem but in the cloud. So the ZAPTEST and ZAP-Farm. And our value proposition here from ZAPTEST is automating any any software application across platform using the visual object recognition technology. So this allows us to execute any permutation or combination of application under test in any environment and reduce the amount of time it takes to build and execute test scripts for development and maintenance. One of the things I really like about this facility is that it not only allows, it's very powerful, allow any user skill, including novice and advanced test automation engineers, to support Agile efforts. The test automation for Agile Shift Left allows test development based on what we call mockups. And again, this complements our message in service virtualization as we shift left. So the ability to build scripts from captured files, from paper documents, the whiteboard exercises that we do in our sprints, to anything to do with what we do with service virtualization in terms of being able to mock up and build virtual services from request response pairs and WSDLs or waddles very early in the cycle without a full system built out. This supports that concept as well. So the ability to shift left and support Agile efforts. This is a depiction of what I just spoke about regarding the documentation facility of ZAPTEST, which on the left supports all of our Agile Central efforts, as well as our efforts in Agile Requirements Designer, taking those test cases right from ZAPTEST and importing them into Agile Central as test cases, and then taking those test cases that are nicely formatted and building them as test cases into Agile Requirements Designer. And later on, or earlier, if you say at the same time, parallel in the life cycle, being able to support our application development unit testing efforts for development or early functional testing and regression testing against virtual services. One of the things I want to show in the demo is the way we fit with service virtualization. It's kind of an example of how we can use ZAPTEST. So I can take the ZAPTEST UI. I can build my scripts very quickly and easily, which I've done here through our CARS, forward CARS demonstration it's our standard demo with CARS for customers. So what we've done is we've taken mock-ups. I've just provided the team here with some screen prints of the screen captures of each of the conversation, the whole conversation of a forward CARS transaction, and then the ability of using the visual object recognition technology in ZAPTEST to build those scripts out very quickly and easily. And now I can drive that against my CARS backend virtualized services. So I'm going to be showing which I've already built, and I'm going to go ahead and use that in the demo as well. So again, very simple example, but a very powerful example. So we'll show the process of a script that's already built. Again, the ability to automate any application on Windows and any mobile device, as well as other operating systems. Driving the documents into Agile Requirements Designer, and then, for example, and eventually, to Agile Central and Agile Requirements Designer, and eventually to execute those scripts across either on-prem or cloud. So this is just an example of how I can use the OneScript technology to automate any application under test. Let's say I'm in a sprint session and we're doing some whiteboarding, and I'm whiteboarding a user interface, for example, that I want to be able to use later on and show how we can deliver software within our 2-week cycle. I can take that, I can take a screen capture of it or picture of it, and I can very quickly import that into ZAPTEST, where I can use the workbench to map the objects and the text and the classes, and very simply generate the script. So this is an example using their OneScript technology with forward CARS, and you can see the conversation of log on, the actual entering of the user password, the selecting inventory. So these are just individual transactions within the entire conversation of forward CARS that we were able to capture, and this is just a sample of the scripting technology that we've used. As we're building scripts, we can identify very easily how those script components and the objects are mapping to their GUI mapper. There's a GUI mapper that is interactive within the script building facility that allows us to very easily understand where we are within the script. Once we build the script, we can take the script and generate the documentation. As you can see in the bottom here, there's a very nice script that is built that imports directly into Agile Central as a test case. And this test case document can very easily be formatted and used to build an object in Agile Requirements Designer as well. So this is great technology for getting our customers moving across their sprints and providing, again, the shift-left mantra that we need in supporting our continuous delivery message. So once we have the devices and the workstations or the virtual machine staged, I can drive the test across those devices and machines in parallel. And this allows me to execute scripts across all devices at once. And not only on-prem, but they have a ZAP Farm offering, which is a device hosting management solution for private cloud using distributed devices under test. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to shell out to the demo, And for most of you that have seen forward cars, this will be old school, but I just want to introduce forward cars for those that have not seen it. It's just a very simple application that we use to in our service virtualization demo, but the live system, the system is running live right now. I've actually got a virtual service built in the essence of time, but as you can see, it's running on a live port here, which is 7,000. I can go in the application, choose a car. I can get detail on the car. I can get its VIN information, do a lookup report, primarily maybe from a third party that we can virtualize. And then I can go back home to the application. Okay, it's a very simple example. Wanted to show some of the power. The main thing is to show the power across, building one script and taking that script and driving the functional test across platforms against the virtual service. So I've got a virtual service built. It's running here. Let me go ahead and reset my transaction count. For some reason it got set. Okay, and it's running on 8006. Okay, so set my transaction count to 0, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the facility, what I'm going to be staging here. So in ZAPTEST, what I've done here is I've used their MRun facility, and essentially I've got my Android Samsung S7 device hooked up and communicating to the application, as well as my virtual machine. So I've got a remote virtual machine that's already built. Down here is the script, so as we go through and invoke the MRun facility to be able to execute the script, again, one script is being executed across multiple platforms and multiple devices. So imagine this, if you've got an iOS device of 3 different operating systems, you've got maybe 4 different Chrome devices, or excuse me, Samsung devices, or other types of mobiles, and then you've got maybe a device here that's running Windows 8, Windows 2012, maybe something on the Linux box. You can execute all these things in parallel through one UI through this MRun facility, which is very powerful. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and basically run against the virtual service here. So let me go back to my Chrome and reset. And I'm going to go ahead and just run against 8006, which is my virtual service endpoint. Set that up. Just to make sure it's working, I'm just going to run a couple transactions and go home. And I'm going to go ahead and then I'll eventually reset the virtual service. You can see I'm hitting the virtual service. And I'm going to go ahead and reset that transaction count. You can see nothing funny is going on here. So I'm going to go ahead and just run this. And as you see, as it's running, you can see interactively the progression to the script and then the transition within the mobile device as well as the virtual machine. I'm going to go ahead and run it. And you can see the script starting to execute in the bottom. And starting the transition across the conversation of forward cars through mobile and workstation. So one of the things I like about this is its ability to automate any software application cross-platform using just one script, so just building one script and being able to support all these platforms and devices as is, and performing pre-development test automation using very fundamental or primitive mock-ups. Again, we don't have to get on a workstation and start pounding away and building some type of UI. I can just take a snapshot with my phone and be able to take that mock-up and build that use case and complement that with my service virtualization message, which is using a mock-up through a few request response pairs and some WSDLs or waddles, importing those. And I've got some very effective tools for doing agile development and testing. This really will expedite the time to regression test execution on the multiple use case workstations and devices at once, and just tremendously reduces the amount of test script development and maintenance time, allowing developers and testers to be able to use, again, very easy, very simple mock-ups to be able to build, and test cases to be able to build scripts in a very powerful fashion. So as you can see, the virtual machine is completed. The mobile device is just about ready. Perhaps you've been following some of the script executions in the bottom. And when we're done with this, we'll get a report and find out, it's like an audit report to find out how everything is everything executed within our test. And we're just about done here. We're just getting through the vehicle report. Our test is almost completed. And there we go. Great. So now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to be able to show the results of the test. So this is a nice audit report that shows the amount of time. It allows me the execution, test execution time. Each step within the iteration shows the execution of the object. So this is for my virtual machine. Maybe I can show first 25 entries, and then I can expand those. So you can see not only the collection of the object, but of the object value. In case the inventory search. Do the same thing across the mobile device as well. So it shows me all of my events, and I can expand the rows, and that will show me all the details across my mobile device as well. Great. So this is my audit report. I've done a good job here. I've got my test completed. The next thing I want to do is I want to generate documentation. And this is very powerful because not only when we generate from the script that we just went and used for execution, we could take it and move it across Agile Central. We can move it across HP ALM as well as any type of RTF formats and HTML. So I'm just going to go ahead and run this. In a matter of a few seconds, it's going to go ahead and generate the script that I can bring over to Agile Central. And again, from Agile Central, I want to take that script and bring it into Agile Requirements Designer as well. So as you can see from here, I can go ahead and export to Agile Central. And the steps are in an order that would be a very nice metaphor. I think you'd see for those who are Agile Requirements Designer aficionados, we could take this and we can move this into Agile Requirements Designer very easily to help us build test cases and move those forward in the life cycle. Right. Going back here, you can see we were also able to hit the virtual service. So I got 16 transactions. I can open up those. I can show the inspection view. And you can see I got some really nice hits. So did its thing as well. Got some nice matches. Great. Okay, so that's a little tour of ZAPTEST. Again, the ZAPTEST technology can automatically generate test documentation as well as being able to execute across platform. Supports a lot of our CI and CD efforts for our customers and provides the ability of complementing both Agile Central, Agile Requirements Designer, and Service Virtualization. Including, you think about it, release automation as well, because as we kick off tests from RA, whether those tests are kicked off from the configuration team or the they're kicked off from the release managers. This is a platform that would fit very well within that area. Thanks for selling, guys.